I'm so sorry. You disqualified and discredited yourself when you didn't bring up. You literally said the statistical stuff doesn't matter, but you're talking about bullshit.
I'm not saying it does not matter because all together. What I am saying specifically, I'm talking about those two quarterbacks on the list that I just saw. That I was like, why are these two quarterbacks ahead of Jalen Hurts? Baker Mayfield and Brock Purdy. That's what I'm saying.
What you're saying, Brock Purdy right now. We're talking about Baker. I asked you a simple ass question. When statistically has Jalen?
I answered that question. I said he has not.
Okay, then what are we
arguing? But also, when we're talking about quarterbacks, it just.
Now, did you hear that? I wanted to play that. I'm not trying to take shots, but do you see the logic behind that? This is why you have to be a fan of football first, then your team. Because when you are not a fan of football first, you are going to be blinded a lot by your team. And you're speaking on emotions rather than actual football logic. I asked the man, statistically, what has Jalen Hurts have done to prove that he is better than what Baker has when it comes to his record, especially what he's done individually on his own. Now, see, people out there, again, they're not going to agree with me, but I don't give a shit. And I asked this gentleman to debate me, but I guess he doesn't want to. But we'll break it down. I'll break it down why he wouldn't want to, because, again, like a lot of fans out there who are just fans of their team, I can respect the passion, but what I cannot respect is when your lack of football knowledge gets in the way and you want to perpetuate bullshit. That's just not how it's going. You might not want to accept the fact, again, Baker is better. And for all you people out there, well, he wins, that's a silly ass remark. Again, football is a team sport. Again, now, I think the issue is a lot of people don't know how to dissect and review stats and separate the difference between individual accomplishments than the team accomplishment. When you are winning a Super Bowl, that's a team accomplishment, unless the player does something so extraordinary where it shows that he was the person who single-handedly took over the game. That's a whole different story. So this is why I'm trying to educate some of these people out here, because I can tell a lot of y'all are just speaking from emotions. And I said what I said, and I stand on that Baker is better than Jalen. Oh, absolutely. It's no question. Because the funniest thing is I ask people like that, and the first thing they talk about is leadership and all that other bullshit. First of all, you can't measure that on the field for the most part. Now, that's certain things that you can't teach, but you can't say that Baker doesn't get his team rallied up like a Jalen Hurts. That's just some silly ass shit. But let's just keep looking into what I mean by that. Let me break it down. So when it comes to elite quarterback plays, and I'm not saying that Baker's elite, but work with me. People like Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, they have to be elite. If they are not elite, their team fails. When those quarterbacks do not play at an unbelievable level, when they don't maximize the talent around them, their team fails. And you could put Baker in that category too. I didn't say he's elite, but if Baker doesn't perform and excels well, the Buccaneers lose. You cannot say that for Jalen. And again, for you dodos out there, we're not fucking bashing him for being on a good team. We're just explaining how football works when it comes to certain tiers of players. You have the elites, you have the very good, you have the goods, you have the mid, and then you have the trash. Do you understand that? So, but no further ado, let me give you the receipts and the results so I can put a lot of you silly ass Eagle fans, not all of you, but the delusional ones, to rest. This is your man Jalen Hurts record, and I circled these two games for a reason. I want you to look at his stats and look at the victory. So first things first, when he threw 300 yards, he didn't even get a touchdown. He got interceptions. So let's look at that New Orleans games and look at that Washington Commanders game. As you can see, when the game is on the line and they need him to throw to victory, it doesn't work. Now peep this. This is Saquon Barkley. If Saquon doesn't have the game he has, they lose. Do you see that? Jalen has the luxury of not having a good day. And why is that significant? If the Eagles lose those 2 games, it's very important. As we all know, wins in football are very important. It could be one game that keeps you from being in a good position in the playoffs to where you have a chance of playing a less good team. If they lose those 2 games, more than likely the Eagles would play the Bucs, and we know they wouldn't want that because we saw how that turned out. Even with A.J. Brown and Devontae back, it wouldn't have made a difference in my opinion. But so do you see my point? Now, I got something else. These are Baker Mayfield's numbers. They look good, don't they? Now, do you see the level that he has been playing at? If he doesn't play to the level that he's supposed to, the Buccaneers are not in the playoffs. They would be maybe a 4-win team at best. Do you see the difference? Baker Mayfield didn't have the luxury of a Saquon Barkley or a complete offensive line. Now, Bucky is doing his thing, but Bucky didn't even really get the start until later on in the season, much later. So again, as you can see, and for those losses that I know a lot of y'all are going to talk about, they were the defense. If you don't know, then I can't help you. But do you see the numbers? Do you see the difference? Baker can win with his arm. Baker can do things. And then let's just go to other shit, because I just find it funny when people talk about, I asked somebody, what makes Jalen better? The only thing you can say that's Jalen is better at is running. However, let's look at certain things.
That's one of the things that Liam Cohen has to decide today. Baker Mayfield in trouble again, able to get free. Baker on the run. He's got a first. 5-man rush. Mayfield sees it. Going deep. McMillan. He's got it inside the 10. Absolute A-plus throw and catch. Here's Mayfield. 3-man rush. Steps away, looking, going to take a shot to Glenn. He's got a
Now, I just showed you, Baker can run. He's a scrambler. But again, he's a better dual threat than Jalen. Baker, again, I asked this gentleman, what plays, did you see those throws that Baker made? What kind of throws has Jalen ever made to even be put in the same breath as Baker Mayfield? And again, when it comes to Baker, he just gets the shit done. And when it comes to Jalen Hurts, because the funny thing y'all love to talk about is his rushing touchdown bullshit. Now, peep this. Did you know 60% of his touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, are tush-push? Okay, so what should that let you know? He's not a Lamar Jackson or a Michael Vick or a Cam Newton type of guy. You know why he can do that? Because he's had the line to do so. It's more of the line, not him. He's not running for 40, 50-yard runs or some shit like that. So spare me, y'all, with he's just so athletic and spectacular. He is, but he ain't no Lamar or Cam Newton. But again, I just think it's funny, though, how I asked people, look at the stats. Hold on. Look at Baker's numbers. Very nice. Look at those numbers. He has up and down moments, but he still gets it done. Now, again, last year was Baker's best season ever. What season can you say, people out there, again, take off your fan caps, that he, on a personal level, by himself, without the team, has done anything to the levels of a Baker Mayfield? And again, you can't talk about the winning shit. That's a team situation. I just explained that to y'all. Now, I just basically debunked a lot of the bullshit that y'all said about Jalen and Baker. Jalen is a good quarterback, but he's not elite. That's the whole point. But I know people, like the person in that comment who was in the video, they're going to refute that. But I just gave you all the facts that you need to know. Again, Jalen is good. He's not elite. Baker is not elite, but Baker is better than Jalen. And I leave you with this because, again, I want to see Jalen Hurts do the type of shit that Baker could do.
Mayfield evades, in trouble, stiff arm.